YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with another ranking video for the 2020 NFL season, going over the best pass rushing duos today. Recently did running back duos, receiver duos, there's some trios in there. Check it out. Plenty of more rankings and predictions for the NFL season on the channel and more coming, so hopefully you can join us for that. But the top 10 pass rush duos plus one sleeper today. We recently had 50K on our main channel here. Appreciate that. Help us keep on climbing, because we're going to keep grinding here. And then our second channel, please subscribe to that as well. More content coming out in the future. And we have a Twitter, constant updates, NFL updates, Goat House updates, keeping you guys involved with content in the future. Some polls will be on there. And then there's our podcast. You'll find a link down below for anything that you need here in the description and in the comments. Who is the sleeper team? Just missing the cut in the top 10. Don't you sleep on the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a young duo, both rookies last year. Max Crosby kind of stood out as the better of the two, one being a mid-round pick and then Clelin Ferrell being a top pick. So it really wouldn't surprise me if Clelin Ferrell was the better of the two this year. I'm not saying I'm predicting that, but it wouldn't surprise me because Clelin Ferrell was picked that high for a reason. A little bit of a shocker. I still kind of disagree with them taking Ferrell over Josh Allen. They felt he was more of a fit in their 4-3, so I guess you can understand it. But either way, as a top player, I mean, he was dominant for the Clemson Tigers, and he felt like he was getting more involved later in the year last year. So he really could step up. We know he's got a ton of upside. Max Crosby's got a ton of upside. What I liked about him is they moved him around a bit. Out of Eastern Michigan, I thought he was one of the sleepers as well. I liked him. I thought he'd be more of a 3-4 end, maybe he can play some 4-3 ends. But they a 4-3 team drafts him. They play him at end, and they're sliding him inside quite a bit as well, which is very impressive. A lot stronger than he looks, really. So a very impressive rookie season. So that's a young duo, definitely one for the future. These rankings are for this year, so they just missed the top 10, but definitely one of the future. We're going to see a couple other teams that could be part of the future as well, top-tier teams there in the pass rush department. Number 10 is going to be the New Orleans Saints, the veteran Cam Jordan, very consistent, maybe more consistent than anybody on this list. Maybe he carries this group a little bit, but then Marcus Davenport, really good young pass rusher. Remember the Saints traded up a ton to go up and get him a couple years ago. There was a reason for that. Great fit, another version of Cam Jordan, and a ton of upside, playing at a smaller school there in Division I. But Marcus Davenport, need him to stay healthy, need him to take that step up. I think if he is healthy, I think he continues to take that step up because when he's on the field, he looks pretty darn good. Cam Jordan, going forward for this season, I don't know if we expect him to be, any better, but he's already been top tier, and I don't see any reason why, his play will go down at this point. So I expect another really, really good season out of him. So the Saints duo, number 10. Number 9 is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, and here's one for the future. This is one that is a contender for maybe number 1 of the future. Josh Allen, who I was very high on, I think pretty much the whole world was, but he did drop a little bit last draft than we all expected. But a dominant pass rusher, a dominant rookie season. That's definitely one for the future there. And they get KLAVON from LSU, who has a ton of upside. Already kind of polished in the run game, getting after the quarterback. Maybe he didn't have the sack numbers that Josh Allen had maybe a year ago out of Kentucky, but I think he had enough production. But he always showed up at big time moments. He really did for the best team in the nation there as well. So I like the upside of KLAVON there, especially with Josh Allen. They do have Yannick Ngakoue, and technically their best duo could be Josh Allen, Yannick Ngakoue, but I don't think he will suit up and play, and they made that pretty clear. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. We'll keep you covered on that, thoughts on that if he gets traded. I kind of expect him to be traded. It's just, is somebody going to give the Jags where they value him at? I think it's going to have to be under his value. I think that's quite clear at this point. But Josh Allen, KLAVON CHAISSON, that's one for the future right there. That's a big-time one for the future. Already in the top 10 with a second-year guy and a first-year guy. Number 8 is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt continues to impress. Seems like he's getting better and better every single year here. A dominant pass rusher. Bud Dupree, a former first-round pick that was not really getting the bust label because he was somewhat productive, solid player, but pretty close to that. He wasn't really living up to the hype. And last year he did so. He had a career year, and they're going to bring him back for this year as well, of course, and they do so. And we'll see if he can continue to play like that, because a little bit of a letdown before last year. I think the success of TJ Watt, I think, helped him as well, but he's also But DUPREE's also, played much better himself. So, I kind of want to see how he does. Is he going to have a second really good season? Last year was kind of the breakout year. I definitely trust TJ Watt for sure. So this is a pretty good number 8. We see how good some of these pass rush duos are. Number 7 is going to be the Washington Redskins. I was almost tempted to put them a little higher. A lot of these teams are pretty close. I'm that much of a believer in Chase Young as their best pass rusher, and that much of a factor right away. And then their number 2 is Ryan Kerrigan for me, but you can put Montez Sweat in there. Montez Sweat was a guy I was probably higher on than most of the world, in terms of the pre-draft process out of Mississippi State. The upside's unreal. So, in kind of going back, we talked about the Raiders, we talked about the Jags. Who will have the best pass rush duo of the future? How about Chase Young and Montez Sweat? That's looking like the top candidate there to lead the way. So they got something impressive going here. But I think Ryan Kerrigan is still a very solid pass rusher. Just because he doesn't have the youth that some of the other guys had doesn't mean he's old, doesn't mean he's declining. That's a very solid pass rusher, especially with Chase Young, with Montez Sweat. I'm the Redskins, and we'll rank units and pass rush units all together, which includes the D-line. The Redskins could be at the top of that list because we talked about 3 outside pass rushers. You factor in their defensive line rotation as well, the interior defensive line. Very impressive. But I chose Chase Young for 2020. I chose Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan, and I expect them to kind of soar up the list every single year, and that could be including Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And I really like that young duo there. Number 6 is going to be the Smith boys, so the Green Bay Packers. Za'Darius Smith, who I loved his game last year. First year, I liked him on the Ravens. He was climbing in terms of talent. But the last year, he really broke out. He really had a dominant, elite football season, in my opinion. It should be everyone's opinion. He was that good. It's a first year kind of trying to click with all these new people on the Packers defense, new players. I don't see any reason why he can't continue to play that good or even get better. This is a guy that creates, he gets production himself, but he creates for the rest of the defense for guys like Preston Smith. And Preston Smith was kind of known as a, already proven run-stopping pass rusher, or edge defender, I should say. But the key is to be able to get pressure. You want to be a pass rusher of an edge defender, and he did that. He hadn't really done that much in his career, and he did that in his first year in Green Bay. I think playing alongside Za'Darius Smith and guys like Kenny Clark on the inside really helped. But these guys can continue to grow here. I think people that look at stats probably compare these guys. I do think I would think that's wrong. I think Za'Darius Smith is the much better of the group, but very impressive from both, and they make the list because of how good this duo is, number 6. And number 5 is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's still, it's one of those ones. I almost could put these guys at 1. I really could, but you almost can put them outside the list. I kind of want to see more, but we are kind of predicting the 2020 season here. I got him at number 5. Shaq Barrett had a career year, the first year getting that much of his reps. Based on how many pressures it's unlikely that he repeats that sack total, but that sack total was something insane, and he still has the traits, and he still gets after the quarterback, gets enough pressure where he will be that much of a threat still to offenses. And Jason Pierre-Paul, the question was, because the Buccaneers switched to a 3-4 last year, will he adapt to that? I almost feel like he's just a 4-3 end, and he missed a chunk of the year, don't forget, as well. First half of the season there with a neck injury, and he comes back. So how's it going to be after the injury? How's it going to be in this new defense for him that he's not really used to? And he was lights out, I thought, continuing to get pressure, got a pretty good sack total for how many games he played. And now Shaq Barrett getting another shot, more polished, pair these two together full term now. I think they'll have success here, and they have a chance to be the best one, really. But it's tough to split up the top 5 here. Number 4, the Chicago Bears. Yeah, Khalil Mack may be the very best pass rusher in football. Last year alone he was not, but he didn't have too much help there. Some injuries, not enough help, and it was doubled quite a bit. But very well, everybody knows can be the best pass rusher. Robert Quinn, another one of those kind of question marks. Robert Quinn had a career year last year, was very impressive, much better than anything that the Bears had before. Leonard Floyd, other guys, this is an upgrade big time, and anything that is somewhat decent is helpful to Khalil Mack. But yeah, the downside, Robert Quinn pretty much, has failed in 3-4 situations, 3-4 defensive schemes, and succeeded in 4-3s, and now he goes back to a 3-4. There was a reason he was jumping around teams, so that is a little bit of a scary part. I'm on the side where I'm confident because He's gained a little more confidence in himself. He's gotten better recently, mainly because the defense, what's around him, what he's playing with, and guys like Khalil Mack. So that's kind of the question. Let's see how consistent Robert Quinn can be. But Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, definitely a top 5 pass rush duo here. Number 3 is going to be the LA Chargers, Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. Always been a Melvin Ingram fan. Another one of those guys that rushes the passer from multiple different spots. He's an edge rusher, but he'll rush from multiple different spots. He'll line up on the D line. He'll rush from the inside. Kind of gets in the offense line in the quarterback's heads pre-snap there, and I think he makes people around him better. A sack creator, a production creator for others. Joey Bosa, I think he's been very solid like we expected. I don't think the question is, has he lived up to that full hype yet? It's not far off, but I don't think quite yet. And we expect greatness from Joey Bosa. I think we've always had, and he's been pretty darn good. A top tier pass rusher. I just want more. I'm kind of left wanting more, and I think this could be the year here. But already good enough, obviously, to make this list with his partner here, Melvin Ingram. But I think this is kind of the year where Joey Bosa just takes control. He's kind of that one of those top-tier pass rushers. So Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram coming in at number 3. Number 2 is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. Another Bosa, Nick Bosa. Rookie year was outstanding, impact player. Maybe not, plenty of production. But I say impact. A lot of guys that get that production, they're all impact players, but it's really key for Nick Bosa because I think he showed up at the right times, made that extra play, that huge play at the right times to turn the game around. Happened so much just the rookie season. This guy's going to be an elite pass rusher. We know that. And D Ford, I think people sleep on D Ford quite a bit. He missed some games last year. He's a pretty big key to this defense. Bosa and Ford are the pass rushers in this defense, but they're both different style pass rushers. Bosa's going to be, more of that 4-3 end, hand in the dirt. D Ford's going to be off the ball. We've seen him drop in coverage quite a bit. We've seen him drop and then kind of get to the middle of the field and control that middle of the field. We saw they like to do that quite a bit. So he does a lot for them. And that was his first year there, and he missed some games, and he played in a little bit pretty similar role, but a little bit different scheme on the Chiefs 2 years ago. And that year, he had an insane year, an insane amount of pressures. So I think both these players, crazy to think, will be better this year. I really think so. There's no reason why not. There's no reason that they won't be, So Nick Bosa, D4, number 2. Number 1's got to be the Broncos. It has to be Von Miller, one of the elite pass rushers in football, definitely top tier. And then Bradley Chubb, who was my number 1 prospect in the draft a couple years ago. We know this guy. We know he, the bonus is he stops the run at a very high level for an edge guy. We already know that. We knew that before we even played it down in the NFL. But he gets after the quarterback. We missed him last year. He didn't get to play, and that was unfortunate. We really didn't get to see Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Very unfortunate. There was all these expectations, all these predictions. How many sacks are these guys going to get? This has got to be the year. Need to stay healthy. There's really nothing in the past, big time. Nothing like adding up. From several moments or several years that Bradley Chubb will continue to get hurt. So I believe these guys will stay healthy, and I think if they are healthy under Vic Fangio, under having their talents and the talent of the defensive line of the Broncos, I think these guys will be by far the best pass rush group here. So I got the Broncos at number 1. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise there. Let me know your rankings in the comments, 1 through 10. If you want to rank more or less, I just want to see it. I want to compare everyone's in the comments there. But please smash that like button as well. More of these coming. Once we start ranking full units, ranking team defenses, offenses, and players by position, we'll do a full 32 perhaps. So a lot of these types of videos still on the way. We're going to keep you guys involved on Twitter, so check that out. Please subscribe to both of our channels. That is going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.